Hey everyone, welcome to another AI Deep Dive. It feels like things are moving at warp speed these days, and we've got a mountain of sources to dig through today, from the latest AI news reports to what people are saying on Reddit, Discord, and Twitter. So buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, it's incredible how much is happening right now and in so many different areas.
All right, so our mission for today is to give you a panoramic snapshot of the AI landscape, what's hot, what's controversial, and where things might be headed. Ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
Okay, first up, let's talk about Cohere's Command, a model. They just made a huge leap to number 13 on the ARENA leaderboard.
Mhm.
For those who don't know, that's basically the Super Bowl of language models, where they compete on a whole bunch of different tasks.
Yeah, and it's especially impressive because they just added that new style control feature, which is pretty significant.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. What's that all about?
Well, it lets you fine-tune the tone of the text that Command A generates. So you can tell it you want something formal for a business report or something more casual and friendly for social media.
Wow, so it's not just about what the AI says, but how it says it. That's pretty cool.
It is, and it really opens up a lot of creative possibilities for writers, marketers, you name it.
Speaking of possibilities, did you see that Command A also now has a 256K word context window? That's insane.
Yeah, it's like having an AI with a photographic memory for text. It can process super long documents and still remember every detail.
I'm trying to imagine reading a whole novel and being able to remember any sentence instantly. It's
Right.
mind-boggling.
Exactly. And that has huge implications for things like chatbots, customer service, any application where you need the AI to understand and respond to a lot of information.
And here's another thing that caught my eye. Command A is boasting a really optimized serving footprint, which basically means it's leaner and faster for developers.
Ah, yes. That's a big deal for developers who want to actually use these models in real-world applications.
Right.
You don't need a server farm the size of Texas to run it anymore.
Exactly. It's like AI power is becoming more, well, powerful and practical.
Efficiency is key, especially as these models keep getting more and more complex.
Okay, hold on tight, because we're about to do a rapid-fire round of new model releases. First up, we have Mistral AI's Small 3.1. This one's making waves because it can handle text, images, multiple languages, you name it.
And get this, it can run on a single RTX 4090 graphics card. That's huge for individuals and smaller teams who want to experiment with powerful AI models.
Yeah, it's like Mistral saying, hey, you don't need a supercomputer to play in the AI big leagues anymore. They're really democratizing access to this technology.
And they're also putting a big emphasis on speed. They want those AI interactions to feel snappy and responsive.
No more waiting around for the AI to think. That's key.
Absolutely. And their approach to training is pretty interesting too. They're focusing on patent data, which suggests they might be targeting applications in things like intellectual property and innovation research.
Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, next in the model lineup, we have Google's Gemma 3. This one's got some seriously impressive vision capabilities. Image understanding, object recognition, generate descriptions from pictures, the whole shebang.
Yeah, Gemma 3 is a big step towards creating those multimodal AI systems that we've been hearing so much about AI that can understand and interact with both text and images. That opens up all sorts of possibilities.
And of course, it wouldn't be a proper model release roundup without mentioning Baidu. They just dropped Ernie X1, which is apparently matching the performance of DeepSeek's R1 model at half the cost.
Yeah, that's making a lot of people in the industry sit up and take notice. It could shake things up in the AI market.
Competition is heating up, that's for sure. Oh, and they're also releasing Ernie 4.5, which they're planning to gradually open source.
Open sourcing these models is so important for the AI community. It allows researchers and developers to build on each other's work, and that accelerates progress.
It's like the rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing.
Okay.
Last but not least, in our model mania, we have Smoldakling. It might have a cute name, but don't let that fool you.
Yeah,
This tiny OCR model is blazing fast.
I know, right? It can process a document in like 0.35 seconds. They're saying it's even outperforming some of those big, bulky models.
So it's like the David and Goliath of the OCR world.
Huh. I like that analogy.
So there you have it, a whirlwind of new AI models hitting the scene. But with all this amazing technology popping up, how do we even begin to measure how smart these AI systems are?
That's a great question. It's not always easy to compare apples and oranges, especially when it comes to AI.
Yeah, it's not like we can just give them an IQ test or something.
Hmm.
But luckily, there are some brilliant minds working on this very problem.
There's this new benchmark called MC Bench, and it's really cool because it's designed to be fun and engaging while also giving us valuable insights into how well these AIs can actually perform.
Fun, you say. I like the sound of that. Tell me more.
Well, instead of just focusing on those abstract tasks that don't really translate to the real world, MC Bench uses scenarios that are actually relevant to us humans.
So it's like testing their ability to solve problems that we might encounter in our everyday lives.
Exactly. And that makes it a much more meaningful way to evaluate their capabilities.
I like that. It's not just about raw processing power, but also about how well they can apply that power to real-world situations.
Right. And then there's HCAST, which is all about evaluating how well an AI can function as an independent software agent.
Oh yeah, HTAST, I've heard of that. So it's like, can the AI actually do things on its own without us humans constantly having to step in and give it instructions?
Exactly. It's about testing their autonomy, which is going to be crucial as AI agents become more and more sophisticated.
Especially if we're talking about things like self-driving cars or robots that are supposed to work alongside humans in factories and stuff like that.
Exactly. We need to know that these AI agents can be trusted to operate safely and effectively in those kinds of environments.
Okay, so we've got benchmarks that are testing how well AI can perform in real-world scenarios and how well they can operate autonomously. But are we seeing any of these models actually excel in those areas?
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing some really impressive results. For instance, Mistral Small 3, remember that one we talked about earlier? Well, it's actually outperforming Gemini Flash 2.0 in tasks related to patents.
Patents, okay, I'm intrigued. Why is that significant?
Well, patents are basically a goldmine of technical information. They describe all sorts of inventions and innovations. So an AI that can understand and analyze patents can be incredibly valuable for research and development.
So it's like having an AI lawyer on your team who can sift through mountains of legal documents and find the golden nuggets of information.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a great analogy. And it shows how AI is starting to be used in some really unexpected and potentially game-changing ways.
Okay, so we've talked about models, benchmarks, all that good stuff. But let's shift gears for a minute and talk about AI agents. This is where things get really interesting because we're not just talking about chatbots anymore. We're
No.
talking about AI systems that can reason, problem solve, and even be creative.
Yeah, it's a whole new level of AI sophistication.
Hmm.
The key difference is that AI agents aren't just passively responding to prompts. They're actively taking actions, interacting with their environment, and learning from their experiences.
So they're more like, well, agents. They have a sense of agency, they can make decisions and act on them.
Precisely. And that opens up a whole world of possibilities. For example, there's this AI agent called Tix Agent that's being developed for the medical field. It can analyze drug interactions, pull up relevant medical knowledge on the fly, and even engage in multi-step reasoning to help diagnose patients.
Whoa, that's incredible. So it's like having an incredibly knowledgeable medical consultant by your side 24/7.
Exactly. And that's just one example. There are AI agents being developed for all sorts of different industries, from finance to education to transportation.
It's like AI is becoming the ultimate personal assistant, not just for individuals, but for entire organizations.
Right. And what's really exciting is this idea of multi-agentic programming, where you have teams of AI agents working together to solve complex problems.
So it's like the ultimate brainstorming session, but with super intelligent AI agents bouncing ideas off each other.
Exactly. We could see teams of AI agents collaborating to write code, design new products, even compose music. The possibilities are endless.
Okay, now you're just blowing my mind. AI composing music, that sounds both amazing and a little bit terrifying at the same time.
I know, right? It makes you wonder what the future holds for us humans if AI can do all this stuff that we used to think was uniquely human.
Yeah, it's a big question and one that we should definitely be thinking about. But speaking of big questions, what's the AI community saying about all this? I'm sure they've got some strong opinions.
Oh, you know they do. Let's dive into the wild world of Reddit and Discord, shall we? That's where things get really interesting.
Because on the internet, everyone's a critic, right?
Pretty much. But that's also what makes these online communities so valuable. They give us a real-time pulse check on what people are excited about, what they're worried about, and where they think things are headed.
So what are people freaking out about on Reddit these days?
Well, one thing that's generating a lot of buzz is Sora and its ability to generate these incredibly realistic and detailed dystopian cityscapes.
Wait, AI is creating art now? Dystopian art at that? What's going on?
It's pretty mind-blowing. The images are both beautiful and kind of eerie, and it's raising all sorts of questions about the role of AI in art and creativity. What does it mean for human artists when AI can create such compelling visuals?
Okay, I'm officially both fascinated and a little bit scared. So what about Discord? What are the techies geeking out about over there?
On Discord, it's all about the Mistral versus Google rivalry, especially when it comes to those smaller, more accessible models. Everyone's debating the best training techniques, and the quest for the perfect AI-powered IDE is on.
So it's like a battle of the titans, but in the world of code.
You could say that. These discussions are really intense and passionate, and it just shows how dynamic and competitive the AI field is right now.
Innovation is happening at lightning speed. And I'm sure there are some juicy hardware rumors flying around too,
Oh,
right?
you bet. Apparently, there are whispers that AMD APUs might be outperforming the mighty RTX 5080 graphics cards in some tasks, and people are even sourcing their RTX 4090s from China.
Wow. So it sounds like the AI hardware scene is just as competitive as the software side of things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
And it's all connected. As these AI models become more complex and data hungry, we need more powerful hardware to keep up.
It's like AI is pushing the boundaries of what's possible on both the software and hardware fronts.
Exactly. And for those who like to really geek out on the technical details, there are some fascinating discussions happening about things like gradient steps, the curse of depth, and layer norm scaling.
Okay, I'll be honest. Those sound a little over my head.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the brilliant minds out there are figuring out how to make AI even more amazing.
They are, and those technical details might seem esoteric, but they actually have a huge impact on how these AI systems work and what they're capable of.
It's like the inner workings of a magic trick.
Mm.
You don't necessarily need to understand how it works to be amazed by it.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty cool to know what's going on behind the scenes.
Exactly. And speaking of cool things, there's this new approach called block diffusion that's getting a lot of attention. It's basically like creating a supergroup of language models, blending different models together to create even better outputs.
So it's like taking the best parts of each model and combining them into something even more powerful.
Exactly. It's a really clever idea, and it shows how collaboration and cross-pollination of ideas can lead to some really innovative breakthroughs.
All right, so before we move on to the grand finale of our AI adventure, I've got to ask, what are some of the coolest new tools and releases that people should be checking out? You know, the stuff that's actually going to make a difference in our everyday lives.
Ooh, that's a great question. There are so many to choose from, but let me highlight a few that are really showcasing how AI is becoming more accessible and integrated into our daily routines.
All right, I'm all ears. Hit me with your top picks.
Okay, so first up we have Recam Master, and this one is a game changer for content creators because you can change camera angles on the fly.
Whoa, on the fly. So you don't have to stop recording and reposition the camera.
Exactly. Imagine the possibilities for YouTubers, filmmakers, even live streamers. It's like having a virtual camera crew at your fingertips.
No more awkward jump cuts or shaky camera work.
Oh.
I'm sold.
Mm.
What else you got?
All right, next up we have Gradio Sketch 2.0, and this is huge for anyone who wants to build AI apps, doesn't know how to code.
Oh, wow. So no more needing to learn Python or JavaScript or whatever.
Nope. You can literally build an entire app with a drag and drop interface. It's like visual programming for AI.
Talk about democratizing AI development.
Yeah.
Anyone with an idea can create their own AI-powered tools now. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the last one?
Last but not least, we have Snipped, and this one is for all the podcast lovers out there. It's an AI-powered podcast app that uses AI to generate transcripts, summaries, and even personalized recommendations.
Okay, that sounds super useful, especially with so many podcasts out there these days. It's like having a personal AI assistant for your podcasts.
Exactly. It helps you find the best content and get the most out of your listening experience.
So we've covered a lot of ground today, from those groundbreaking new models to the ethical debates happening in the AI community, and of course, those awesome tools you just told me about.
Yeah. It's been quite the journey, hasn't it? And it really highlights how fast this field is moving and how much potential there is.
It's exciting and a little bit overwhelming, to be honest. So much is changing so rapidly, it's hard to keep up.
I know what you mean. But that's also what makes it so fascinating. It feels like we're on the cusp of something truly revolutionary.
You know, thinking back to those AI agents we were talking about earlier, it's mind-blowing to imagine that we're creating machines that can learn reason and even solve problems better than we can in some cases.
It's definitely a profound moment in human history. We're essentially creating a new form of intelligence, and it's up to us to figure out how to use it wisely.
As AI continues to evolve, it's going to have a huge impact on our lives in ways that we can't even imagine right now.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to keep having these conversations about the ethical implications of AI. We need to make sure that these technologies are developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
It's a big responsibility,
Yeah.
but it's also an incredible opportunity to shape the future for the better.
Exactly. We need to be asking ourselves some tough questions. What kind of future do we want to build with AI? What values do we want to embed in these systems? And how can we ensure that everyone has a voice in this conversation?
These are questions that we all need to be thinking about. And that's why I love doing this show. It gives us a chance to explore these topics and hopefully inspire others to join the conversation.
Well said. I couldn't agree more. The more we talk about these issues, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the challenges and opportunities that AI presents.
So to all you listeners out there, keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep asking those tough questions.
The AI revolution is just getting started, and it's up to all of us to make sure it's a future we can all be proud of.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We'll catch you next time.